Hey everyone, welcome today. This is Jerry McNulty, the Whistling Whittler. Today we're going to do a fun project called Dusty the Cowboy. And with Dusty, we're going to be applying the 5 basic cuts that we learned in video number 1. So this is Dusty, and he's really cool here. He is what's known as a relief carving. And the pattern for Dusty will be available at thewhistlingwhittler.com. This is a $5 download, which include a PDF with the pattern as well as step-by-step instructions. So get ready to carve, guys. Come on, this is the Whistling Whittler. Let's have some fun. Okay, so let's take a look at our Dusty the Cowboy. First of all, the knife that we're going to be using today is a Badger State blade. This is from our friends up at the Badger State, and this is a great looking blade. So let's look at Dusty the Cowboy. So first of all, we're going to look at some of these lines for Dusty. His hat is rounded, and this can be done with either a push cut or a pull cut, depending on the grain direction. Comes into this hat band. We want the hat band to be taller than the hat, so when we do our stop cut here, we're going to remove the material on this side of the stop cut, so that will make this a little taller. It'll change when we get to the brim, because the brim, technically goes way far out. So we're going to do a stop cut here. We're going to remove the material on the hat band side of the stop cut. When we come down here, the ears, these ears, we're going to do a stop cut here. We're going to remove some material so that these ears are a little bit lower than the face on both sides. We're going to do a stop cut around this nose. And then if you'll notice, this is rounded off on this side. It's also rounded off on that side. So actually this is a V cut around this nose. So it'll give equal depth to the nose from the cheeks. Now when we get down here to the mustache, we want this mustache to be higher than the things around it. So as we stop cut the mustache, we're going to remove the material on the side of the mustache that we want to be lower. So, and then this duster, same thing. Stop cut here. We're going to do remove the material from the sides so that the shirt is underneath the duster. So that's what we're going to do with Dusty. So let's get rolling. I've got my knife here. I've got my carving glove, and I'm going to get rolling. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to stop cut this hat band. I'm going to do the hat band a little taller than what it is on my pattern. And we said we were going to remove the material from this side of it. And then I'm going to start rounding the top of this hat using my push cut. Also do the sides of the sideburn. I want my knife to actually make contact with every single surface on here. So that there is no bandsaw marks on any of it. And I'm removing the pattern marks as I go. This is going to be a really quick one. I think I can do this pretty fast here, but this will also, if I haven't said it yet, this will be a digital download. You can get the pattern on the whistlingwhittler.com. This right here is end grain. So what I'm doing on end grain is I'm putting my knife down and taking as thin of a chip as I can. I'm almost just slide my knife right across that. I'm going to give it a little bit of a shape to the hat in here. And as I said before, we want to make sure and make sure my knife is hitting every single spot on here, and it'll make a difference when I paint it because it'll create different section with the paint. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I'm carving every single little spot here. So round this pretty good. Okay, next I'm going to separate this brim from the hat band. I'm going to do that with a stop cut. I'm going to remove the material on this side so that the hat band is a little bit recessed from the brim. And I'm going to make sure and remove and carve every little piece of this. Sometimes just getting the right angle is the hard part. So I move it around quite a bit just to see where the best angle is to come from it. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper here on that stop cut, so that I get a pretty good shadow line in there. Okay, and this has got a couple little fuzzies on it. I'm going to clean that up as I go. It's always good to clean your carving as you go. When you save it to the end, it just becomes a little bit more than sometimes you can handle. So just let's make it clean as we go and get used to trying to carve this as clean as you can go to start with. We're going to do the bottom of the brim here. I'm going to remove the material up against it. I'm going to kind of round these edges off just a little bit. We don't have a very deep brim, but giving it a little bit of shape is going to look pretty good. And I do have to switch around here because of the grain direction. It does change from one side of the cowboy hat to the other. And that is pretty typical when you're working on faces. You get to one side of the nose, you get used to trying to do things from upside down on one side of the face just to be able to use your dominant hand. Okay. And there, I'm still cleaning up every time I find something that's just not perfect for me. Okay, so I'm going to start now with these ears, and the ears need to be recessed. So I'm going to look at the side of the face, and I'm going to split the difference on the side of the face so that they're about half the distance of what's here. So, and the way I'm going to work with this is I'm going to do my stop cut, and then I'm going to do a stop cut on the side of the face. And then I'm going to notch these things out. Get a little bit clean so it's crisp both ends. There you go. So I'll do the same thing on this side. Stop cut here on this ear here. If your two stop cuts meet up pretty good, then this piece comes out really easy. Now, it's pretty much the trick with all the stop cuts is you want your knife to meet up and meet that stop cut when you're cutting the detail. Got a little bit more to go here. Yeah, that was bad. You don't want to use this as a pry bar, but it was loose. So you start doing that, you end up losing the tip of your knife. But there we go. We got some ears. Okay, from here we're going to, I'm going to cut this, this line in here for that nose. And I'm going to work towards the outer edge of my pattern here. And I'm just going to turn it with my hand so that my knife is not actually lifting out of the wood. So, and as we talked about before, this is going to be a V cut. So we're going to move the material on both sides of that stop cut. So we're making sure we carve off all of the surfacing from the saw. Okay, we've got our nose here. We're going to get our cheeks in here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and stop cut this line for the mustache right now. That way I've got it, although I'm not going to really cut that mustache, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So what that's going to let me do is do a stop cut on the bottom side of this cheek here. I'm going to also do a stop cut off the top of this collar. So that's giving me a stop cut around all three sides of my cheeks. So I'm going to go ahead and I want round cheeks, so I'm going to remove the material here, remove the material here, and then I'm going to use a push cut to round that edge off. One over the top. Same thing here. I've got a get that pretty good. That's giving me some round cheeks. So I'm going to go ahead while I'm here. I'm going to round off the ear a little bit and soften those hard edges. There again, I want to make sure and carve every little plane on the face here. So I'm going to remember to carve the sides, clean the sides up. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to work on this mustache a little bit. And I've already got my stop cut down this way. I'm going to do the stop cut in the center and do this side of the mustache. We said before we want the mustache to stand out taller than the coat. So I'm going to do, I did my stop cut. I'm going to remove the material on the outside of the mustache. And that chip should just come right out if you've met your stop cuts. And the bottom. Okay, so I am gonna come back again and I'm gonna soften this just a little bit so it's not a hard edge, but I'm gonna remove the saw marks. I've got to turn my knife here because come from the other direction because of the grain. You can feel it kind of lifting like it was just going to pull all the way out. So I'm going to fix that up real quick. Same way, and it probably changes directions right at the edge of that curve, so I can change directions of my knife right about there. Okay, so now I'm gonna do another stop cut on this line here. That's the collar line on each side. I'm gonna round off this collar a little bit and remove the material right here. Make that collar stand up. So I'm removing the material from that stop cut on the other side of the collar. Let's round it just a tad bit. And same thing with this one. I'm going to remove the material on the other side of the collar so that collar is more pronounced. This Badger State blade is doing really well today. They're making some good tools, so check them out, Badger State blades. Gotta always remember to clean up things as you see them. Okay, so I've got the rest of this coat here to do. I've got a little bit of a color right here, and this is the bottom of the face. So let's start with there. Let's round that off. And let's give it a pretty good size shadow. So I'm removing quite a bit here underneath the that chin. And then I'm going to round this off just a little bit, take off the bandsaw marks. Let's give him a little bit of a mouth there. There we go. And all that is I did a stop cut on each side and then removed a little bit more material underneath there to give him somewhere to breathe here. So let's go ahead and do this collar here. Collar's going to come down like this, and here, here, and here. We wanted the collar to stand out more than the rest of the shirt here, so we're going to remove the material on the bottom of the collar. And sometimes figuring out how to hold these things is half the battle, but we'll manage. I'm just going to take off those bandsaw marks and the pattern marks. And we'll do the shirt here, stop cut the shirt. Remove the material on this side of the shirt. The bandsaw marks. And that leaves us just with the rest of this duster. So I'm gonna, not much to do there, just cleaning it up and rounding over the sides. So I might want to come back and remove a little bit of material here just to make that mustache pop a little bit more. This is that end grain. So it's sometimes hard to get, and the paint looks different on it because it doesn't have the same section as the rest, but we'll make it work. So we're coming up to the end here. I've got just a tad bit left to clean up. Just a little bit. So there he is. There's Dusty the Cowboy. And this pattern will be available on thewhistlingwhittler.com. We'll put a link in the description. This pattern will cost you $5, but it comes with step-by-step instructions in color. And you will be able to print this out and cut it. This is a 3/8 piece of basswood. And there you go. There's Dusty the Cowboy. Thank you guys. We'll see you later.